It's a heart healthy power walk for women of a certain age. You don't need any equipment, so let's go. All right, killer bees, let's get moving and grooving, and that means that we are getting started with some arm circles and high knees, you guys. You guys, I'm excited about today's workout. In fact, welcome to the workout. I'm Paula B. I'm your best middle-aged fitness friend. And around here, we are all about making peace with your menopausal body. And I personally feel that one of the best ways to make peace with your body is to give it what it needs. And you guys, your body, it needs a little heart healthy power walk every now and again. Whether you are a cardio lover like me or you are a strength girl, this kind of workout that we are doing today is so good for your heart that it's got to be good for your whole body. And in fact, for me personally, I feel like today is going to be good for your body and your mind. We are talking about how to get a healthy heart, why you want a healthy heart, and I have some really reassuring information for you about how, relatively speaking, easy it actually is. Let's go ahead and do some arm crossers with booty kickers. And speaking of easy, today's workout is not going to be easy at all. In fact, today's workout is going to be exactly perfectly moderate. You guys, I've got the handy dandy Gym Boss here set for intervals of 1 minute and 30 seconds, meaning two separate intervals. One of the intervals is for 1 minute long and the other interval is for 30 seconds long. Our 1 minute interval is going to be spent walking or marching. You are welcome to take that walk or march really in any way that you see fit. It can be very slow, it can be very medium, it could be fast, you could run if you wanted to. It really kind of depends on where you're starting with your level of fitness. I'm going to take it at a nice moderate pace today. Today, for me, is a moderate workout. You are welcome to do whatever you'd like with today. Let's go ahead and do some welcome to my homes. The fact is, a nice cardio workout like this can be taken moderately for either weight loss or body shaping goals, or you could take it up to a push day, depending on what you are doing with your world. In fact, if you open up the description box below, I've got a nice 5-page resource for you that really explains how to make any workout work for you and for your goals. And no matter what your goals are, my friend, I know at least part of you is looking to be healthy, and this kind of nonstop. Oh, by the way, did I mention that none of those intervals is rest? Oh yeah. This kind of nonstop workout is excellent for your heart health. Let's go ahead and get started with our walking motion. There it is. I had to listen for my timer, you guys. It's up here next to my ear, next to my good ear, in fact, so that I can hear our beeps today. With these really generous length intervals, I do want to make sure that we kind of sink into a pace that feels best for you. Honestly, for this kind of a workout where it's nonstop, we're working on endurance, we're going the entire time, I'm kind of starting off pretty simple. I happen to know myself, and I know most people who exercise. It doesn't matter how fast you start off, at some point you will kind of go up the ladder a little bit. And today being a moderate workout for me means that I'm going to start off almost slow, almost too moderate, so that I can really warm up into it. When it beeps though, and it will, we're going to do low swinging tappers, which just means that our hands are swinging low rather than over our head, and we're doing some side to side tappers. I've got lots of changing planes of motion for us today, making sure that we really work our whole body, not just our heart and lungs, but our whole body with different kinds of movements. While we're moving, of course, we're toning too, my friends. When it beeps again, we're going right back to that walking motion. The 1 minute interval is always walking, and the 30 seconds, we're going to alternate between different kinds of low impact cardio work exercises. So here we go, back to our walking. So the low impact today, I should have mentioned this earlier. You guys, there's absolutely no jumping. I feel like maybe you know that with my workouts now, but if you are new here, brand new to the Paula B Fitness channel, my workouts, no jumping, no transitions to the ground, usually on both of those things. If you find some older videos, if I have long hair in any video that you find of mine, oh, there's jumping, there's transitions to the ground. I was young then, you guys. I've been on YouTube for a lot of years. When it beeps again, we're gonna do wide arm twisting kicks. It's exactly what it sounds like. We're going to have our hands out wide, our arms out wide. We're going to kick forward and we're going to twist into it. So touching your opposite hand, reaching your opposite hand towards your opposite foot. The likelihood of me actually touching my foot is literally 0. But I'm going to try. I'm going to get somewhere around the knee, maybe. We'll see. So wide arm, twisting, kicks. Oh my goodness, my friends. This, doggies, is why I'm taking the walking at a nice moderate pace. I happen to know that no matter how low impact the exercises are, there's plenty of intensity to be had. As soon as we start moving our bodies, my friend, your heart rate comes up, your muscles are working, we're toning our muscles, we're working our heart and lungs. We're right back to that walking motion. And that is the good news that I have for you about your heart health. You know what? You don't have to knock yourself out to get a nice healthy heart. You do need to do some kind of cardio like this sort of a workout pretty regularly. You know, there are different people who have different guidelines about different things that you might want to do. And here's my opinion, not medical advice, but opinion about that. Start where you are and don't worry about doing too much until you get there. When it beeps again, we're going to do squat jacks, which means when our hands are down, our hips are down in a squat. And as our hands are coming up doing jumping jacks, our hips are going to go up and down in squats. Wherever you are with your heart health, with your fitness, with your everything journey, yes, there is maybe a destination. So here we go. Down into a squat, up into a non-jumping jack. Hands are doing jumping jacks, but your lower body, no way, my friends. Absolutely no jumping necessary to get your heart rate up, to get your sweat on, to get those endorphins flowing, to get a great workout. We never need to jump. You might want to. Now here's the thing. This is what I'm saying. At some point on your fitness journey, you might get to the point where you want to do jumping, right back to walking. You might get to the point where you want to go longer. You might get to the point where moderate will always have a place in your repertoire. Trust me, moderate will always have a place for you, but you might get to a point where sometimes you want to push. That is all well and good another time. Right now, wherever you are is where you are. Don't worry too much about the CDC guidelines or what you think you're supposed to do or the American Heart Association telling you that you need so many minutes a day. Right now, if you don't have that many minutes in you and it's going to knock you out, that's not really doing you a whole lot of good, my friends, when it beeps again. We're doing walking stars. That means we're reaching up while stepping forward, reaching up with our other hand while stepping forward with that one, and then walking backwards. You might know it as a box step, but if I call it that, my brain doesn't really follow along. As we do our walking stars, we're going to switch our leader foot each and every time. This is a workout for your body as well as your brain. Now here's what I'm telling you about your heart health. I'm not saying that you will always be able to do very, very little and get excellent heart health. What I am saying is that when you start where you are and you start with a moderate for you pace, that you can build on that you can grow with that. Because my friends, right back to walking, here is the fantastic news about your heart, as well as your muscles and your bones and every system in your body. When you can work out consistently, it will improve. The end. Like, there's no caveat on that. When you work out regularly and consistently, everything you do will get better. It's kind of amazing. Your heart and lungs, they'll get better because that's their job. Your muscles, they'll get stronger because that's their job. Your bones, if you're doing some kind of resistance work, will get denser because that's their job. When you work out regularly and consistently, you will make improvements in your body. When it beeps again, you guys, I'm doing a reach across crunch. It's exactly what it sounds like. You're going to reach across your body, but then you're going to swoop on up overhead and you're going to come down into an oblique crunch on that same side, bringing up that same knee. We are working on a little bit of balance today while we are getting our cardio on. And that's another something that you will make improvements on. Now, I'm not promising you that someday you're going to be able to stand on one foot for an hour at a time. I have been working on my balance for years and still cannot do that. But what I'm saying is that when you have a consistent routine, when you are working on things regularly, every once in a while, maybe once or twice a week, especially right back to walking. If you don't love cardio, doing something like this once or twice a week, and then building from there. As you get more comfortable with cardio, as you get more efficient with cardio, as you get better with cardio, you'll likely enjoy it more. I'm not saying you're ever going to be a cardio bunny like me, but you might enjoy it more. My friends, this is why moderation is so great for us. If you don't feel like you have to knock yourself out, this workout is not going to feel like you need to go take a nap afterwards. It's not going to feel like you can't move tomorrow. Speaking of moving, when it beeps again, we're doing alley-oops, which means we're going to have our feet nice and wide. We're going to swoop down over onto one side, doing a bit of a lunge and a bit of a pivot, so we're actually facing one side. Hands come down as low as you can. Doesn't really matter how low you get. You don't have to come into a full lunge. We're going to swoop up and over, alley-oop. In fact, here we go, alley-oop. We're going to pivot that back foot and lunge down again. Again, if you don't care for lunges, don't lunge. You can absolutely do this entire exercise with a little bit of a lean forward and no bending in your knees at all if you'd rather not. This kind of work, my friend, highly, highly modifiable to wherever your fitness is. Honestly, I'm sure you've noticed when you have your hands up overhead, we're right back to walking. If you have your hands up overhead, your heart rate goes up. But even if you are moving at all, your heart rate comes up. Now here's the great thing about cardio exercise. Your resting heart rate is whatever it is, whatever the number is. Anytime you do anything at all, standing up, walking across the room, anything at all, you're bringing your heart rate up a little bit. When you bring your heart rate up on purpose and keep it up for a little while, your heart thinks, oh, hey, I need to get better at this because if we're going to do this again, I don't want it to be as difficult next time. That's how your heart rate, your resting heart rate will come down and your regular heart rate will get easier every time you do this kind of a workout. When it beeps again, we're doing drinky bird jacks, which means our hands are doing jumping jacks and our feet are doing drinky birds, which is a fancy name for a single leg deadlift, which is a fancy way of saying that we're going to bring up one leg behind us while our back stays nice and straight. Whew. And one foot stays on the ground. This is balance work. We're making improvements in our balance while we're improving our heart and lungs. My friends, this kind of work has so many benefits for you. Some of them you'll notice. Some of them like boosting your metabolism, burning calories at an elevated rate, right back to walking. Some of those things you notice right away. You notice when you feel some endorphins from doing a workout. But you'll also notice over time. If you are doing this exact same workout at the exact same pace, it will feel easier. That is your heart getting stronger. That is your lungs getting stronger. That is your body making improvements. Now, I will tell you, it can be hard to notice because when you're kind of tuning in and you're like, okay, I'm going moderately, you might still think you're going moderately, but you're actually going faster. So it'll be hard to notice that the same pace feels easier. And I want you to understand that your body is making improvements whether you actually notice them or not. When it beeps again, we're doing cheerleader kicks, and that is the last exercise in our circuit. We're going through this entire exercise route again. Here we go with cheerleader kicks, hands at your shoulders, pushing up while we kick forward at whatever pace feels good. I've noticed, speaking of noticing things, that my walking pace has picked up, but my heart rate doesn't feel like it's gotten too much higher. It feels like it's right at a nice working pace that I can manage for one more round of all of these exercises. When it beeps again, we're going right back to walking. My friends, So that was as complicated as these exercises are going to get today. Some of them are easier than others. I know that. Trust me. I know that. But as you do this kind of workout, these kinds of exercises, they'll get easier too. I cannot begin to tell you how wildly uncoordinated I was as a child. Let's just leave it there. I was wildly uncoordinated and I didn't practice very much because I felt so self-conscious about it. I never spent years practicing something when I was a kid. So I made it all the way into adulthood, really thinking of myself as being incredibly unathletic and kind of incapable of doing things. When it beeps again, we're doing those low swinging tappers. And even when I first started really enjoying exercise and really working at exercising regularly. So here we go with those low swinging tappers. Your hands can actually swing kind of high. I mean, mine are going up to my head, but it just means that they're not going up over your head. They're swinging down low, down around your hips to wherever you want to get them. Getting some nice lateral movement here, working those inner and outer thighs. When it beeps again, going right back to walking. In fact, even when I started on YouTube, if you watch some of my very, very early workouts, I really only had, here we go back to walking, I really only had maybe 5 or 6 exercises. Everything I did was basically jumping jacks and push-ups and some variation of planks and some variation of sit-ups or something. That was all I did because it was all I could do. I practiced, I watched other videos, I went online, I Googled images to see other kinds of exercises. I practiced diligently to do other sorts of things before I would do them on camera because I was so self-conscious of how uncoordinated I was. When it beeps again, we're doing those wide arm twisting kicks. I have improved because I've just kept at it. Again, if you look at some of my early videos, some of the first time I do some exercises, here we go with those wide arm twisting kicks. Oh, really feeling those abs and obliques working. There we go. Even while we're doing cardio, my friends, this is a great way to get some ab work in, even without getting on the ground and doing any kind of sit-ups, making sure that you're holding in your core and moving at a pace that feels good for you. But you will find, honestly, you will find even in some of my more recent videos, here we go back to walking, every once in a while, I just don't know what I'm doing. Every once in a while, an exercise just doesn't come together the way I wanted it to, the way I had planned for it to. And this is what I'm saying. I'm not promising you that someday you are going to be perfect with your heart health, or someday you're going to be perfect with your balance, or someday you're going to be perfect with anything. Perfection is never what I'm aiming for with you. I'm aiming at making improvements. When you do work that just feels good, that feels doable, that feels moderate, and like something you can complete, that means you'll come back to it. When it beeps again, we're doing those squat jacks. When your hands are down, your hips are down. And if you come back to it, my friends, when you come back to it again and again and again, you will make improvements, even if you don't want to, even if you don't notice it. Your body will get better at doing what you do regularly. Squatting down, standing up, squatting down, standing up. Hands are doing jumping jacks, my friends. Your legs are squatting as low as you can or as low as you want to. Again, if you don't love squatting, don't squat. You can just bend forward a little bit. You could kick out to the side if you'd rather. There's always a way to make every exercise still work for you. This, again, is the great news about heart health. Here we are right back to walking. You never actually have to do any more than this. This walking motion, this is one of the best things that you can do for your whole body. I know it doesn't feel like a whole body exercise. I understand that. Sometimes you think, oh, I got to do something for my arms, and that's why we move our arms with some of these cardio exercises. But this moving your body is great for your heart, my friend. You guys, when it beeps again, we're doing walking stars. Walking stars is actually one of the exercises. That's why I included this, because I wanted to talk about improving your coordination. Walking stars is an exercise that I did on camera for the first time, I want to say 4 years ago at this point. I was so embarrassed and self-conscious the entire time I was doing it. And I should go back and watch the video. Here we go. Stepping forward, stepping back, stepping forward with the other foot, stepping back, changing leader foot each time for me is the trick. And I know that's hard. That's exactly why we're doing it, so we can improve our coordination. Sometimes you got to step a little bit up and outside your comfort zone. But I seem to recall that I don't even remember what I called the exercise because I didn't know what it was. I didn't know how to explain it or how to do it. We're right back to walking. And I vividly remember actually getting a comment after I had released the video from my friend Karen, who said, "Oh, I've always called that a box step." And I was so excited to have a name for this exercise. But then when I tried calling it a box step in the next video that I did with it, which is probably at least 6 months to a year later, because again, I felt so uncoordinated with it. I called it a box step, and I remember not being able to do it. When it beeps again, we're doing the reach, cross, crunch, by the way. And I remember feeling, again, really awkward. And then after I had done it a couple of times, after I had practiced really diligently off camera to be able to perform anything like what I had in my mind, I started calling it something else. And this to me is the real moral of this story. If you don't think you like cardio, maybe what you like is a power walk. Here we go with that. Reach across, crunch. Reach across, crunch. If you don't like strength training, maybe you just need to call it picking up heavy things and putting them back down again. If there is something in your life that you don't feel good at, that you feel uncoordinated, that you feel terribly self-conscious, that you feel like maybe you'd like to get better at it, but you just don't know, try changing its name. See if that helps you feel better with it. We're right back to walking, marching, or whatever you want to call it that makes this workout feel good and doable for you, my friend. My friend, we've really only got a couple of exercises left. No matter how much you love or don't love cardio, cardio does love you. Cardio, or whatever you want to call it. Something high heart rate, sweaty, sparkly work, whatever you want to call it. It's really good for your heart. My friends, heart disease touches all of us. When it beeps again, by the way, we're doing alley-oops. That's the one where we're pivoting to one side, lunging down if you can or want to, or just leaning forward. That's totally okay too. As long as you are not getting injured and you're moving, everything you're doing right now is great for your heart. And I cannot stress enough how important it is to be good to your heart. Heart disease, here we go with these alley-oops. Heart disease is far and away. I mean, you look at the numbers and it's actually a little bit shocking how much higher the number is for heart disease than any other cause of death in America. My friends, I know you know somebody who has been affected by heart disease. In my family alone, both my father and my brother had quadruple bypass surgery. Here we go back to walking. In their 40s. There's a reason why I'm a cardio girl. There's a reason why I am very careful about my heart health. There's a reason why I encourage my kids to walk and run and keep their hearts healthy. One of the things you can do is exercise. The other thing that you can do is to really mitigate your stress. And that is where something moderate, like walking, comes in again. Mitigating your stress, being aware of what physical and mental stresses you have, and letting them go is one of the nicest things you can do for your heart. You guys, when it beeps again, we're doing those drinky bird jacks, which I know might have just actually brought up your stress level. except for the fact that you never, ever need to be perfect at Drinky Bird jacks, my friends. Your hands are going to be doing jumper jacks. Your lower body is going to be doing something. Maybe it's Drinky Birds. Maybe it's just standing on one foot. Maybe it's tippity tapping off to the side. It doesn't really matter. That ultimately is the best news about taking care of your heart, is that you cannot, or rather you need not, stress about the exercise that you're doing. Pick something you enjoy. Maybe it's as simple as walking. Maybe it's as complicated as walking stars or these Drinky Bird jacks, which was really troubling me just now. No matter what it is, find something you love and do it regularly, a couple times a week. Especially when you first get started, even once a week is better than 0 times a week. Even 5 minutes is better than 0 minutes. Don't worry about where you're going to be in a year or 2 years. Don't worry about the big picture of I need X number of minutes a day, every day, all the time. Start where you are and work on your heart right now with whatever you've got. When it beeps again, you guys, it's cheerleader kicks for the last time. It's our second time, our final time with our final exercise through this circuit. You have done such an excellent job managing your heart, managing your stress, managing your moderation. And I hope that at this point that you are feeling good about this. Here we go. Hands at your shoulders, hands go up while kicking forward. And I will tell you, we'll be done when we're done with this, but we're not quite finished and we're not going back to walking. We are doing some balance work. Woo-hoo-hoo. We're going to do a flying high knee with a Drinky Bird. I know, everybody's favorite, but here's the thing. We're going to start with one high knee. I'm actually going to start by standing on my left foot, so my right leg is going to do all the flying. So your right knee is going to come up while hands are up. As we tip forward down into a Drinky Bird, this is so much slower. Extend that leg back behind you and then push your arms all the way back, 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 back. It's work for your core. It's work for your upper back. It's work for your hamstrings and glutes. It's work for your brain as your hands come up. That high knee comes up also. This is a long interval, my friends, and I don't expect to do very many of these exercises. We're getting a couple of reps done. You're really thinking about balance, thinking about improving your heart, your lungs, your core strength, your mental perseverance through some tough stuff. When it beeps, we are going to go back to walking for that short interval, and then we're going to do this balance work on the other side. As your hands come down, that leg extends back behind you, hands extend back behind you, palms up facing towards the ceiling, squeezing from your shoulder blades, back to walking. Doggies for 30 seconds. Isn't it amazing how that slow moving work, I think I'm sweating more than I was for the fast moving work. This is why we always top things off with a little bit of a finisher. When it beeps again, we're doing that flying high knee on the other side. So for me personally, I'm sitting on my right foot. Left knee is going to come up. Hands are going to go up. As we tip forward down into the Drinky Bird, hands are going to go up behind you. So hands up. I'm finding something to stare at. I find that to be the most effective way to work on my balance, is to find my center inside my body, like almost, my eyes are open, but thinking deeply about the center of my body, pulling in my core, finding that center of balance. And for me, finding something to stare at. If you want an extra challenge, or if you are my friend Melissa, you can close your eyes. I say that because my friend Melissa is actually blind. She comments on my videos very frequently and has been a commenter and a friend for years now of the Paula B Fitness channel. She is one of the reasons why I talk so much. I do naturally anyways, but for Melissa, I try very hard to over-explain the exercises because I know she can't see me, my friends. We're gonna do 30 more seconds of walking just to start cooling this down. Oh my goodness, what a great job you've done. Now here's the thing, we are gonna do a couple of cool down exercises Whew, we're gonna do some of those arm circles again, and those arm openers, really opening up your chest, making sure that your heart and lungs take some nice deep breaths while we're cooling down. I'm actually gonna go ahead and turn this off here. Do a little bit of side tapping. Gonna do some nice big arm circles. I do have an extended cool down for you. I know that sometimes we really get sweating, especially if you did manage to turn this into a push day. I know I kept it nice and moderate, but boy, did I get sweaty. My friends, work is always work, and this is how we work our heart and lungs. We don't have to go crazy with it. We just have to go consistently with it. Go ahead and open up your arms. Oh my gosh, open up that chest. Feel your heart and lungs opening up, and then close them up. Give yourself a great big hug and a pat on the back. Oh my gosh, what a good job you did today. Opening it up. And closing it up. I hope that you have a very, very healthy day, my friend. Make sure that you do the extended cool down here and subscribe before you go so I can see you in the next video.